Thank you for watching and for being part of the conversation. You all are terrific. I mean, Beatles fans in general are pretty great, right? And it doesn't matter how long you've loved them, maybe since 1960, or maybe just since last year. Doesn't matter. We all have the same thing in common. We all love the Beatles. We love their music. We love their story. We love everything about the Beatles. And I can't imagine a world without the Beatles. I want the Beatles to live forever, even after I'm gone. And I'm sure, you probably do too, want the Beatles to live forever. And I'm sure that Paul and Ringo and the Estates and Apple, they want the Beatles to live forever as well. And so, that's why they're working on growing the fan base. And, maybe they've made some mistakes, but, it's kind of cool some of the things that they're doing recently. Like even the Sam Mendes movies, that's going to be sort of interactive, I guess. Maybe that's going to be more appealing to the younger fans. And also that advertising thing that they just did. It was very interactive where they hid those postcards, those autographed postcards of the actors that are portraying John, Paul, George, and Ringo. They hid those, all over, I think it was 4 different cities around the world. And whoever found them, like the kids who went on this scavenger hunt, finding these autographed postcards, they went online, posted pictures of them. It's kind of cool. It's very interactive. I didn't have anything like that growing. What did we have? How did we fall in love with the Beatles? I just heard their music. I got the album. Maybe I saw the movies. Maybe I had a magazine. Maybe I saw them on TV every once in a while. And you just grow up with them that way. You didn't have so much interactive stuff. Then you just couldn't get very close to them. Because, by the time I was really old enough, I couldn't go to a concert. Maybe I could go see, them as solo artists, but you really couldn't interact with the Beatles. The younger fans can't either. So it really is important to interact with these guys, to make them be as real as possible so you can just reach out and grab them almost. And that's what's so great whenever, like Ringo is online and we see Ringo or Paul online and talking about this interactive stuff and meeting all these younger fans. It is very exciting because that the Beatles are going to live forever. They're going to keep on going. They're going to keep on going. Obviously, I get emotional about these guys, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. It's just so very heartwarming to see, kids get excited about the Beatles because, I was a kid once, okay, and I got excited about them, and because I would just sit there, listen to the music and stare at their photographs all day long. And like I said, these kids, they get to sort of interact with them, and they get so much pleasure out of that. And so I think this interactive stuff is great to grow the fan base, just like the Rock Band game. That was a great interactive thing. That was great art, and it was about the music, and it was about the Beatles story. So I think something else like that would be great, maybe an updated version or an app or something like that. Any kind of an interactive app would be fantastic for these young folks and for me too, to kind of hold something in my hand that I can interact with them. I know that Giles doesn't want to, release take after take after take of maybe, I don't know, if I want to hold your hand or all you need is love or any of the, ask me why any of these Beatles songs, okay? Because I'm sure that there's a lot of takes and he says it's all very boring, and that's fine. You got to curate it somehow, I guess. And they don't want to release everything. You don't want to saturate the market with all the takes. I guess that makes some sense because, you got to keep it special. You got to keep the Beatles music kind of special. I mean, they didn't want to release everything, so that's fair. If they don't want to release everything, John, Paul, George, and Ringo, they don't want everything to be released, and that's fine. But they could kind of have an app or maybe a few apps or something. I don't know, something interactive where, you could listen to all these different takes, okay, and have photographs of them or something interactive, and maybe all the different, tracks separated from each other so you could listen to it different. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. I'm just excited about seeing these kids being all happy about this interactive thing. Maybe the movie's going to be kind of cool. And I'm also very excited about seeing Ringo, jazzed about seeing this actor portraying him. The same thing with Paul posting all this stuff here. It is kind of cool and it is heartwarming because, the Beatles, they do keep us young. They really do. And this is why I want them to live forever. I want the fan base to grow so that the Beatles can continue spreading this, oh my God, continue spreading this joy and love, because that's what they're about, is like spreading that joy. Because look at all those kids' faces, when they're finding these cards. It's fantastic. So just keep on doing that. Keep on letting us interact with the Beatles. I guess I don't matter so much anymore because I'm hooked. You're stuck with me, but it's the young ones that the Apple, that the estates, Paul and Ringo, they got to worry about. So interact more with them, make it fun, make it exciting, help them to be part of your story. And that's how you do it. That's how you keep the Beatles alive, by spreading the love. And that's what the Beatles are all about. Once again, thank you guys. You guys are terrific.
Beatles is Beatles, Beatle. In the end, it's like, oh, sod off with the Beatles,